Oy Zayin, the Rebbe is going to go back now and answer the questions that he asked in Ois Aleph and Beis to explain the pasuk. How come Balilah Hahu in Pshat means that there was a Helam HaBehester? How come that Davke this Helam Behester, Balilah Hahu, brought to Nodda Shnas HaMelech, that the level of Shnas HaMelech should come down? The Nodda Shnas HaMelech wrote down this great Gilui. How does this fit? And the Rebbe says, Adrabeh, this is Take that brings it about. V'zehu balayla hahu nodda shnas hamelech. This is what we say, that balayla hahu, the sleep of the king was disturbed, and we touched before that ze malchus shel olam, that the melech is the malchus shel olam, which means Hashem's sleep was disturbed. We asked why epis laila hahu. The laila hahu hu shegoram liyis nodda shnas hamelech. Laila hahu, that night, that is what causes to be nodda shnas hamelech. Why? Ki hashoyresh the laila hahu shalamato. The root of the laila hahu, which is the greatest Helen v'hester, because lamato laila hahu is a tremendous hester. And this Lailahu of Lamata below comes from Vichinas Lailahu de Lamailo, comes from the highest of the levels, which is Lailahu of above. That level of Lailahu above, Shalamailo mehahelem diyoim hahu, that is higher than the helem of Yom Hahu, which is the higher level in Yom, is Hahu, which is higher than Yom Hazeh. And the level of Laila Hu is higher than the Helm of Yom Hahu. Vafilu ma Helm Laila Hazeh. And even in the Helm Laila Hazeh, it's higher. So the highest level is Laila Hahu. And that's connected from Laila Hahu of above comes the Laila Hahu Lamato. Through the fact that the Yidden stood with self-sacrifice during the entire year. And how come they stood? What gave them the koyach of the Mesiras Nefesh? Where did they get it? They got it because of the Laila, because it was the that was the inspiration because of the darkness. The reason why they had the Hester is because of the Blaksha, they stood in Mesiras Nefesh. Similar as explained elsewhere. That in the time of Golus, the revelation, the power from Mesiras Nefesh is more than during the time of the Beis Hamikdash. So it turns out the Laila, the Hester, the Golus, that's the reason for the Mesiras Nefesh. So therefore, Nimshach Begilui Bechinas Laila Hu de Lamailo. That's why it brings down openly, Begilui came down the level of Laila Hu de Lamailo, that in Belaila Hahu de Lamata, in Laila Hu de Lamata, in the Belaila of Lamailo comes down in Belaila Hu de Lamata, because the Laila Hu de Lamata is the cause to be Me'oyer the Laila Hu Shalamailo. They brought down the root. V'zehu ha'kesher d'shnei ha'pirushim b'Belaila Hahu nodda shnas hamelech. And this is the connection of the two pirushim in Laila Hu nodda shnas hamelech. Now the Rebbe brought down in Ois Aleph, number one, Shelaila Hu goyrem inyan hashina. So Balaila Hu means it was dark, which means that's why it caused the level of sleep. So in this case, it turns out that Laila Hu is considered to be a low level, a level that brings the sleep, that brings the cause for the shina. And Okay, so if it's a Shina, how come it says Nodda Shnas HaMelech? It means that, notwithstanding the fact that it was Balilah Hu, still Nodda Shnas HaMelech. But Balilah Hu means it represents the lower level, the level that they were at the night over there. No Giluyim over there. Umashakosu Balilah Hu Nodda Shnas HaMelech. So why does it say Balilah Hu Nodda Shnas HaMelech? Ulahadgish HaNes. So that is coming to emphasize the miracle, the Hagam Shahoyo Balilah Hahu. For although it was Laila Hahu, it was the Shino, still it was disrupted the sleep of the king. But the Balilah Hahu is talking of the degradation of the low level. It was Balilah Hahu. So that's one pirush. But on the other hand, what's the other pirush? But here we touched the whole time now that this brought down the Laila Hahu, that because of the great level of Laila Hu, the Eirin Sof and Lifnei Atzimtzum, and the level of Helim, Maila Mailo Ad Ein Sof, the highest of level. And that's why it caused who got him Lias not Shnas HaMelech that brought the sleep of the king. What's the connection between these two pirushim? Kizeh. So now we understand it. Kizeh shalayla hahu goyrem inyan hashino. This that the night Laila Hahu brings about the level of Shina, which is level of Helem, which is brings the Hu Kameshu Hu Mitzad Atzmei. That is on its own. From the Helem comes the Helem in this world, comes Laila Hahu. But through bringing down the root of the Laila Hu, Bechinas Laila Hu Del Maila, the level of Laila Hu of above, Hare Adrabah. So then at the contrary, who goyrem liyes nodeda shnas hamelech, that causes that it should be the sleep of the king disturbed. So it is both. Laila is take mitzad atzme, mitzad the helem. We get helem over here, we get Laila. But mitzad them that it's ma'oder, the Laila of the shersha, when we bring in the shersha through the level of Mesirus Nefesh, and we bring in the level of the shersha of the Laila, so we bring in the Laila Hu Milamayla in the Laila Hu Milamato, and that brings the Yeshua. And the Rebbe goes now in Ois Ches and says it's more even than Balaila Hahu, because the Laila Hahu causes Nodeda Shnas HaMelech. The Nodeda Shnas HaMelech is in a deeper and higher level. As the Rebbe will explain, this is actually Shnas HaMelech, that Nodeda Shnas HaMelech is the level of Atzmus, which is Mechaber Ol HaFochim. Yes, v'yesh lahoisif. So we can add here the Nodeda Shnas HaMelech U'Lemailo Yoser Gam Milailo Hahu Shalamaylo. Nodeda Shnas HaMelech, the king's sleep was disturbed, is a higher level than Laila Hu of above. Because what we're saying, Balaila Hu, Nodeda Shnas HaMelech, that's the cause for Nodeda Shnas HaMelech, but it brings down a higher madrega, the madrega of Nodeda Shnas HaMelech. Balaila Hu rak goyrem lamshochas Nodeda Shnas HaMelech. Laila Hu is only the cause to bring down the Nodeda Shnas HaMelech. So what's the idea of here? Because both the Yom V'Laila, we touched before, Yom V'Laila, which is the Koyach HaHelem, the Koyach HaGilu Sheba Ein Sof, the two powers in the Ein Sof, the power for Helem, Laila, and the power for Gilui, which is Yom. Hem Shnei Yonim, these are two aspects. V'lochein, and therefore, Gam la'achre hamshochas b'chinas Laila Hu de Lamayla b'Laila Hu de Lamato. Even after we're mamshich the Laila Hahu from Lamayla into the Laila Hu in the choshech, in the Laila Hu the way it's Lamato, Hu nishar Laila, it still remains Laila. But Yesher Laila Hu, it still remains Laila, and it remains Laila Hu, a deep choshech, not just Laila but Laila Hu. We say we're bringing down the level of Laila Hu from above. Because that we brought down the level of Lamailo of Belilah Ahu is not a power of revelation, but it's hidden. So you don't see, it's not revealed the level of Laila Ahu. And this is similar to this, is also as it connects to the fact that they stood with self-sacrifice all year. So what happened over here? The Golus didn't go away, but that remained. Since the Mesidas Nefesh comes because of the Hester, because of the lack of Gilui, Shalideya Hester Misoyer Helam the Neshama Shalamayla Megilui. And we say because of the blockage, that's why the Helam of the Neshama is aroused, which is higher than the Gilui. Because they were in the beginnings of Laila, like we said before, that when the person is in Golus, when there is in Elam Hazeh, because of the Hester, the Tzimoyin becomes because of the Hester. And that brings the Hester, the Hel Neshama, which is higher than Gilui. So there is no Gilui over there. So therefore, that Mesidas Nefesh, and that doesn't have so much an impact on the Koiches HaGilui, and it remains more inside in the essence of the Neshama, in the level of the Hel of the Neshama. But as it relates to the open Koiches, even after there was Nimshach, the Helam, Laila Ahu Shalamaylin, Laila Ahu Shalamato, as far as Koiches HaGilui Hayu, Gabel Achrei Hamasidas Nefesh, b'matz of the Laila Ahu. They were still in matzav. The situation was still Laila Ahu. Notwithstanding that it stood b'mesidas nefesh, but legabe koiches hagiluyim, this didn't impact because it's all has to do with the etzem haneshama, the helam of the neshama. We need the nodda shnas hamelech. We need the shnas hamelech to bring it down begilu. V'aderech hamavur b'maimer, similar to what the Maimer explains, the zeh shebe'eis hashina ein nikar mailas hakoiches zeh, that the fact that when a person is asleep, you can't tell the advantage of one koich of the other, and you don't see the seichel isn't functioning, the eyes aren't functioning. Nothing. It's everything is equal. Ubedugmas hakoiches. So that is similar to the koiches as they are in the essence of the soul, which all these powers are the same. There's no expression there, not like it is when a person is up. When he's asleep, it's all together. Shesham kol ha-koiches heim bashva. All the koiches are equal. Umezem move on. So when this is understood, sheyesh tzagdish maila, sheyesh maila b'shina. There's a maila in sleep. She'oz davke misalim ha-koiches lemekayram. Because the koiches go up to their mocker, in which they're all like, and they're all the highest level. But as far as gilui, no, you're asleep. It doesn't help for gilui. It helps for the koich is going to a higher level. Then the koiches go up their source. This is not an advantage which relates to the revealed koiches. On the contrary, in the revealed koiches, there's a lacking and there's missing. It becomes less. He's asleep. When he's up, we see the koiches functioning. Now that the koiches went up to a higher level, but as far from the Giluyim perspective for revelation, it's gotten less because they're no longer functioning in their full power in the Gilui. So therefore, when we just have the Gilui of Laila Hu and the Gilui of Laila Hu Zilmata, it's actually missing. And when we say that Laila Hu, the sleep of the king was disturbed, the Nodu Doshnas HaMelech is talking about Giluyim. That is the level of Giluyim that comes from the fact that Adain Tachlis, that the Ein Sof is below the level of Gilui, that it comes down all the ways below in Tachlis, which is the part of the Gilui, as opposed to the Lamaila then Ketz was the level of Helam. This is the level of Gilui, comes down Lamat Kava Gilui. So Hu Achibur, the Helam Begilui. The Noded Oshnas HaMelech is connecting the Helam with the Gilui. As explained in the Bav Maimer to the Mittler Rebbe, the Zeh Shebelayla Hu Noded Oshnas HaMelech, that Balilah who the king's sleep was disturbed, who Kamoshel Hatzvi, it's like the example of the deer. One eye is open, one eye is closed, which means Gilu v'Helam biyachad. It means open and closed together. He explains it. That it was the connection, the two opposite. It was the Laila Hahu and it was the Nodetosh Melech, the Gilui. It was the two opposite, the Helam Gilui, because it was a revelation of Atzmus at that point, and therefore it was Gilui together from the level of Helam. So Legabe Ha'atzmus, because once we are talking relative to Atzmus, HaHelam v'Gilui Einam Havchin. The Helam and Gilui are not opposites, and therefore the Helam can come down Lidei Gilui, because when it's the Ma'ir, the Gilui of Atzmus, as explained elsewhere. The fact that he can shine level of Gilui and level of Helam, that he has the ability to boast this one aspect. It's not two separate. It's not opposites. It's not two separate. It's not Lamaila, the entire case. Ulamata the there's two imyonim of Helam and Gilui, but this is really one inyan in the level relative to Atzmas. They're one inyan. But yesh loimar, so we can say the mashakos uba maimer, that the maimer says the zesh and not the dosh nasa melech nasa al yidei amisiris nefesh the Yisrael b'meshach kol hashana. How was this disturbing of the king's sleep through the mesiris nefesh of the Yidden during for the year that disturbed the hakavona he gam lam shochas atzmus shoyis ovos? What the maimer means to say also was the hamshoch of the atzmus that took place then, at the time, the gilu ha'atzmus, the one noded oshnas hamelech. Ki mesiras nefesh bo me'etzem hanishoma, because mesiras nefesh come the essence of the soul, which is even higher of the helam and the gilu of the neshama, but the essence of the neshama. Lochein al yidei mesiras nefesh imshicho atzmus, and that's why through the mesiras nefesh they brought down the atzmus. Yes. Yes, the kasher zeh imamavur b'hamaimer. That's still the first maimer that the Frierdiker Rebbe said when he came here. That the Rebbe was quoting the whole time. So over there he says the Yidei shenodu doshnas hamelech, through the king's sleep, that it was disturbed nasa chibur hamakif im hapnimi. There was a connection between the surrounding and the inner, which means shegam ha'oir shalamaylo mehi shtalshlus, and also the oir, which is higher than the shtalshlus, was level of makif nimshach b'pnimis, that it came down into a pnimis. This is connecting with what the Rebbe just explained with the Noded Oshnas HaMelech. Ka'ashoyresh the makif u'pnimi, because what's the root of makif and pnimi? Gilu v'helam. That's the two levels in the urgency of the level of Gilui, level of Helam. The makif u'mitzad ha'gilui, the makif, that's the revelation. How does things come down the pnimi? That it comes through tzimtzum. That is because of Helam. So makif and pnimi are really essentially their gilui v'helam. Makif is gilui and pnimi is Helam. And through the hamshoch of atzma that was then through the mesiras nefesh, etzan and neshama, caused the balilah who nodosh nas hamela brings down the atzmus that took place then. That's the way the Helam and Gilu connected. Nasagam, Hachibur the Makif Upinimi. That brings about the Chibur of Makif and Panimi, because essentially that's the Chibur of Helam and Gilu. That's the way there was the general salvation to the Jews in general. If we talk about the Makif, yes, Shaykhis, Yesela, Klippus, Lekaba Misham. That has a connection more to the Klippus to receive from the Makif. The Zahush also Homanas Haiz Gavoy Chamishimama. That's why I made it Chamishimama. I wanted to reach Shegbia Atzmoy Lekabel Mishara Nun Shalamayla Mishtalshlus Makif, because he raised himself to get from the 50th gate, which is higher than Ishtalshlus, number 50, which is the Makif, because that's where Haman has a shaykhis, the klippers have a shaykhis there. But by Yidei, Shenimshach HaMakiv Bipnimius, but when the Makiv comes in the Pnimius, Nase, La Yehudim, Ha'isa'ira, V'simcha, V'sosa, V'yikor, Kein Tiyalon. Of course, we got to learn the Maimer again and again and again, just verteicht it, as a Schnell, quickly, but at least we translated the words, and then, Ten L'chocham V'yech Kamoid, Eid Chazoin Lamoyed, to go through this again.